Hello and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. Today we have Laura here with us. She is the founder of the valuecoach.com. And yeah, she's got a very interesting story how she got into the wellness and then also how she built the business. And yeah, Laura, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity, Tony, to talk with you today and to give a little bit of information about what I'm trying to do out there in this big, crazy world that we live in. My background, I have a master's in public health and a BS in nutrition. So I've been in the health and wellness industry for a long time, just with my own personal interest, but my story of how I started the Well You Coach, which is the company that I founded about a little over 2 years ago, was really about how do I serve women who struggle with alcohol, because that was my issue for a long time. And when I was 30 years old, I finally had an epiphany moment of I'm either going to die a drunk, and an addict, or I'm going to do something different. And, people ask, well, how did you make that decision? It's like, it's to me, what it's evolved into is the message of the Well You Coach, which is the power of the freedom to choose. Because every day we make thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of choices. From the minute you open your eyes to the minute you go to bed, you're in these choice, right? We don't think about it because it's just automated. But what I realized when I was able to stop drinking and change my life when I was 30 years old, I did it through the help with others, right? Community. I did it through structured programs that gave support to how to feel better about myself and change my mindset and be conscious that really every day I was choosing not to do something or choosing to do something, right? And that's how the Well You Coach kind of sprung. I'd been working with the women for years, but now it's taken on a little bit of a different role. So I don't know if you want me to go further or if uh, if if you want me to wait. And did you have another
Yeah, sure.
question
I
or?
mean, it's a very interesting story. So, can you tell us a little bit more about what are you working on right now?
Yeah, right now. So I had a shift in my corporate. I was in corporate leadership for years and years and years. And a couple months ago, I had a shift in that. They downsized to, because the economy is really uncertain and a lot of companies are laying people off over here in the US. I don't know where you're watching from, you out there in the audience. But I decided to go full in on my business, and I decided to look at what's real the topics that are important that I feel are missing in the wellness world. I knew alcohol is a tough one for people to talk about. They don't either they think they drink too much or they don't understand it or they just don't understand how to talk about it or what's going on for someone if they are drinking a lot. But then the other piece that really has come up for me in my own evolution as a woman who is, you know, uh, uh, had a long career, had a big life, been married, divorced, raised a family, all this stuff is my sensual well-being has come into play as to be a part of the energy and vibrancy about how I want to live fully and how I can give back more abundantly. So I'm about to launch a YouTube channel and podcast called The Sexy School. And it's because sexy never dies. And it's really about intimacy as medicine across our lifespan. So we'll be interviewing people, talking to experts, bringing on doctors and sexologists and therapists and relationship experts and people that deal with menopause and menopause and hormone therapy. Because really finding that hormones are kind of the integral link in our gut to our emotional well-being as humans, period, no matter what age you are. Um, so those are the kind of the two big things. And then I also have a wonderful product company that I work with called Partner Co. And that's a virtual franchise company and direct sales. And we have some of the best weight loss and hormone balancing products on the planet. So I'm really excited to kind of merge all these together right now and get more out into the world and serve more people through kind of a hormone awareness And basically, our hormones really dictate our sensuality a lot of the times, as well as just our mindset thinking and how do we be at our best self as we age, which really comes into play with nutrition and movement. The science now really just is definitive that you need to keep moving and do weight-bearing exercises to keep your longevity strong as you age. We're going to live longer. We keep living longer and longer and longer, but we don't necessarily live healthy while we're living longer. So the idea is how do we live healthy throughout the lifespan? And that's my core mission is really how do we unlock some of those secrets for people?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And something interesting you mentioned there as well, that hormones actually affect our sexuality. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Sure. Well, our sensual, we always think of our sensuality, I think, or our sex, if we will, by just our physical parts in reproductive, right?
Yes.
And we, because as a culture in America, at least, and I mean, I know Europeans, they're more open about their sexuality, but is everyone really talking about this kind of stuff? I don't think so, right? Hormones, how they affect our sexuality, they really affect our emotions. So our gut is where they call it the second brain now, and that's because they have found out, science has found out that serotonin, dopamine, cortisol, leptin, ghrelin, all the stress hormones, all of our calming hormones, things that help us go to sleep, which is serotonin, like the relaxation hormone, are all in our gut. And we can stimulate them through physical massage, but we can also adjust that by what we eat and our supplementation. And so, really working to balance the hormones because as we age, our hormones start to flux. Whether you're a man or you're a woman, you're still losing your key hormones. Men have more testosterone than women, but women has testosterone. So it's really quite life-changing when you can start to balance that. And the science back there is showing where you can get more clarity, you can get more focus, you can get more calm, right? People are epidemic of anxiety in our culture, in America for sure, and probably around the world, with all the uncertainties we deal with. And you really can calm your anxiety through managing your gut health and most people have heard of probiotics, right?
Hmm.
Now most people have started to hear about prebiotics. So prebiotics are the biotics that feed the probiotics in your gut. And you can take things to grow them, but take, you can't just take, I mean, you can take prebiotics, but they help grow the prebiotic that helps support the probiotic, which is a lot of mumble jumble for people that don't understand. But those are the good bacterias that live in our gut to help the metabolism and your gut health and your cellular health. So, without getting into a lot of the nitty gritty of the science.
Wonderful. Yeah. Excellent. So what's your plan or goal for your business for this year?
I really, for me, it's about how do I serve at a bigger level. Um, I love working with people one-on-one. Because of my background, and overcoming the adversity of the alcohol and getting into senior leadership and dealing as a woman in leadership and getting my degrees and the different kind of programming I've been in health and wellness as a career focus for almost 30 years now. And this year for me, since I did a major shift, is really about opening up channels to keep the conversations. Like, how do we continue to talk about the tough subject, like your relationship with alcohol, or your intimacy issues, or your own feeling of your own sensual power, of just being a human in your body. So my goal is really to spread the news to help more people get healthy in mind, body, spirit, and to have the best year through choice of really being conscious about what we're doing in our day to day. Because that's where the derailment goes a little bit. Physiologically, we have to feel sound inside. You know, we oftentimes will look to things on the outside, but lots of times things are in disharmony internally and they manifest on the outside. And so we're fixing things out here where really it's going on in here. So, um, if I could give one nutrition tip for the audience, if you're going to do anything to change your situation to optimize starting to feel better, I say get a really high quality mineral supplement because minerals are the catalyst for change for your enzymes, which support your hormones. So it's this cascade effect in our body. So you need the minerals. We don't make minerals, so you have to take them either in food or supplement. And then that gives our body the chance to do what it needs to do to have harmony. So this year, that's, the message is how do I help people live vibrantly and in harmony?
Wonderful. Laura, thank you so much for these great tips. Thank you all for watching and listening. And if you liked it, drop us a like, subscribe, and also if you have any questions for Laura or me, you can ask them in the comments and we'll be more than happy to answer. See you all in the next episode. Laura, thanks a lot for being a guest
Thank
today.
you so much, Tony. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.